السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله وبياكم، أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. كيف حالكم جميعا؟ How's everyone? Hope everyone's doing good inshallah. How's my connection? Can everybody hear me? One second, let me work on the connection one moment. حياكم الله. Is the connection good, everyone? Okay, alhamdulillah. طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. حياكم الله، أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. Welcome everyone to the third day of this challenge, the vocabulary challenge, as part of the Arabic Accelerator program. Obviously, before anything, join WooClap. There's the link. Barakallah feekum. And before we start, I do have to touch on a few things quickly. Bismillah, let me share my screen. Okay, so this week's or this day's day 3, the title or the theme is food and drink, something that we do all the time, something that is very much part of your life. So it's good to learn what the Arabic words are for this thing that you do every single day. But before we start, a few quick things. Number one, regarding the Quizlet harakat, there has been tons of complaints, and to be as concise as possible, basically, some of you are saying, Ustad, we need the harakat and we want to be able to see how the word is written or pronounced, which is fine. I understand. But at the same time, others are saying, or even the same people are saying, that Ustad, when we're typing, Quizlet is marking us wrong because of these tiny harakat. And then some of you even went on to say, Ustad, can we have both? The answer to that is no. Quizlet doesn't allow both. Either you add the harakat or you don't. Okay? So that's the problem now. What do we do? Do we keep the harakat and the fatha, kasras, and dhammas so that you know how the word is pronounced? But then when it comes to the writing practice, you're most likely going to get it wrong because we follow a specific convention for it, the harakat, which is number one, we don't add a harakat to the last letter because that letter is connected to grammar. So for the most part, and that's not always, it is related to grammar. That 90% of the time, the last letter, the harakat on it is related to grammar. And also, we never write the small sukun sign. We never do that because it's redundant. If a letter does not have fatha, kasr, or dhamma, it has sukun. Now, keeping that convention in mind, you might possibly be able to get the harakat correct, but you might also get it wrong. Now, another issue is that a lot of you don't know how to use Quizlet and the features that it has. I showed on the very first day when I showed you guys Quizlet, I showed you that you should go to options and you should disable writing mode. Okay, if the harakat are bothering you. Anyway, long story short, we decided after a lot of back and forth with the team, we're going to add back all of the harakat to Quizlet so you can see how it's written. And those of you that do not want to get the harakat wrong, you got one of two options. Number one, you can give it a go on the writing mode. And then if Quizlet marks you wrong, you can choose an option that says, I was right, override it, which means it's going to override and it's going to consider your answer as correct. Or what you can do is you can disable writing mode. Now, both of these things, if I go to write Quizlet to try and show you now, it's going to take extra time that we don't have. So, bi'idhnillah, tomorrow, I'm going to record you a small screencast showing you the steps and how to do it. Okay, and I'll post that on the WhatsApp channel. Which brings us to another issue. Allah musta'an. WhatsApp has blocked our account twice so far. one last night. That's why we didn't post anything on the community or the channel. And then today, when a member of the team was replying to some of you guys and providing them with links to join the groups, it blocked us again. So I don't know. I sent them an email again. So hopefully we get access to it again. But that's basically what's happening with the WhatsApp. So as soon as I get access to my WhatsApp again, I'll post a video like that. Now, if that doesn't work, then as a backup, I'll tell you right now, as a backup, join the Telegram channel, because we normally post everything, and at least important announcements we post it on the Telegram channel, and we post it on the WhatsApp channel. So I would say, just in case we don't get access to WhatsApp again, or we do get access but we get blocked out again, I advise you to join the WhatsApp channel specific to this course. There's the link. I've just posted it in the comments. Please join Telegram channel as well so that you can stay up to date. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. Of course, we'll get people to post things in the groups as well, but we normally don't send announcements in the groups because, like we said, these announcements are going to get buried by questions and engagement from the students. So those two channels, the Telegram channel and the WhatsApp channel, are the main places where we send updates. So if you're following both of them or one of them, then you should be fine, inshallah. Okay. طيب. That was a separate issue. Then going on to the assignments. Okay. A very good quick point. The assignments that you have right now on the portal, they are not assignments that are graded, as in your completion of the course does not depend on how many questions you get right or you get wrong. If you do get a very low grade, like I said, it might say to you something like, give it another try. Okay. So I say that because, again, the assignments has the same issue. Those of you that have writing assignments from level 2 and level 3, the harakat issue again is showing up, whereby you're adding harakat. We clearly say in the question, don't add harakat, and then you get it wrong. Sometimes you get the word wrong, but you spell it wrong. Okay. Now, again, we're not manually marking all these assignments. We had more than almost 700 submissions, right? We can't manually mark every single assignment. So we have to add one of the correct answers, and we give you that answer in order to compare it to your answer, not to say that you were wrong, we're going to penalize you for it. So please do not message the team and say things like, oh, the assignment has marked this wrong and that wrong, and this question I got it right. No. If there's obviously a clear something wrong with the answer we've put, then you can let us know, inshallah, we'll correct it. But if your answer is slightly different from what we have uploaded to be the correct answer, either because of harakat or some kind of spelling mistake, just consider it to be right. Okay, don't worry about it. The thing that is going to be graded, inshallah, is the quiz. And the quiz, initially we're thinking of doing it once every 2 days or whatever, but because of the hard work that you guys are putting in, and I don't want to further burden you, we're going to have 2 quizzes in total. One midterm quiz, which is going to be after the 4th day, and we're going to have one final quiz. That quiz is what shows me that you know your words and that you have passed the challenge. So that's the only quiz you need to worry about. And that quiz, inshallah, there's going to be no typing involved. It's going to be multiple choice, true or false, and these sort of things, so that you don't need to worry about your answers being marked wrong. Okay, so that's with regards to the assignments. The assignments are there for completion. Okay, we just at the end, before we give the certificate, we're going to look at the students. Okay, which ones have completed the assignment, regardless of what mark or grade you get. That doesn't mean you shouldn't revise. I'm telling you, try your best to revise, get up to mark, so that you get a good mark for your assignment. But the mark for your assignment is not the mark that you get on the screen. Rather, is the mark that you have by you comparing your answer with the correct answer and seeing if your mistake is because of harakat or a spelling mistake, or maybe you completely got it wrong and you came up with a completely different word. Even synonyms. Some of you said, Ustad, you asked us to translate the word student. I wrote tilmid, the system said talib. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong. Tilmid is also correct. And you know it's correct. So don't worry about it. Consider your answer to be correct, inshallah. And don't worry about it. I want this to be clear, inshallah. Barakallah fikum. Regarding the competitions, by the way, because I did say there's going to be competitions as well. Same thing with the competitions. We will continue keeping an eye on students and how engaged they are. We'll continue to nominate students, inshallah ta'ala, based on their contributions and hard work. There is actually one more student that we had nominated, but I'll tell you guys next lesson, inshallah. Now, there is going to be a competition um, to further give these free scholarships and opportunity of Upskill Arabic Premium subscription to more of you. And that competition is going to be also after the fourth day. So after the midterm exam, when we're reviewing the exam, we also do a competition. And that's going to be a live competition, inshallah. And the students that win that competition will also win that prize, inshallah. Another thing I'd like to share with you, which inshallah hopefully will benefit you as well and will show us that you are very engaged, is that uh, try to share clips from this video. I tried actually yesterday. It's very useful. YouTube has this feature called short clips. Have your pen and paper out right now. We're going to teach level one. We're going to start level one. There's going to be benefits. There's going to be gems. There's going to be things that you didn't know before. There's going to be things you want to share with others. Pay attention to that. Have your pen and paper out. And then if you want, go back to the video and clip it out on YouTube. It's really, really easy. You click on the clip feature. You select from where to where. You write a title. It gives you a link and you post it. And it's going to show us how many views and how good that clip has done. And bi'idhnillah al-kareem, those of you that do that share very beneficial clips that a lot of people benefit from, that will not go unnoticed, inshallah ta'ala. By Allah, first and foremost, will not go unnoticed by His angels that will write down those good deeds for you. And inshallah, they will not go unnoticed by the Upskill Arabic team when it comes to selecting the engaged students who are contributing to the success of this program. Barakallah fikum. Okay, one last thing, which is we have the new all levels module, which previously was called practice module. Before, I used to have a module called practice, but right now we decided to also post all the practice exercises to each level, level 1, 2, and 3. But those of you that want to have access to the practice exercises for every single level, then we have renamed it to all levels module. You can go there to access everything that we've made available for levels 1, 2, and 3. And sorry, one final thing, the community is full. Okay, the community is full on WhatsApp. So if you can't get in, follow the Telegram channel, like I said, or register and join the groups, inshallah. طيب, without further ado, let's start, inshallah. Level 1, barakallah fikum. We're going to do two things today. Number one, we are going to cover obviously the new words, and we're also going to review day one assignment. We're going to review what? Day one assignment. So we're going to look at day one assignment, how you guys did, and show you some of the common mistakes and so on and so forth. Let's start with the day one assignment review, inshallah. Before we cover today's new words. Number one, the average score, as you can see, mashallah, tabarakallah, is 20. Was that 26? Allahumma barik. Yeah, that's 26 out of 26. 189 of you guys have full grade, full mark, mashallah. A few of you got 25 out of 26, and there's a few anomalies here and there. Maybe these are incomplete submissions. So as you can see, mashallah, tabarakallah, you guys are doing absolutely fantastic, barakallah fikum. Of course, there are more than 100. In total, there were how many submissions? In total, just for level one, not all three levels, we've had 279 submissions. Allahumma barik. I think there may be more students in level one, but this is an absolutely phenomenal number. Allahumma barik. It shows that you guys are very engaged, which means that you are benefiting. And this is something that truly brings happiness to my heart. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps you steadfast and keeps us steadfast, and that He brings benefit through this program, which is nothing but a taster, really, of what you're capable of achieving, inshallah ta'ala, over the long run. And like I said, and I repeat, and I continue repeating, the purpose of this particular challenge is rote memorization. Memorize as much vocabulary as possible. Don't worry about grammar. Okay, just try to have a big vocabulary bank as possible, so that when we come to the grammar challenge, you can put that vocabulary to use. There is one common mistake I would like to address. Otherwise, for the rest, you guys have done amazing, which is when it comes to categorizing the words, then you need to categorize them according to semantical category, i.e., according to meaning, not according to grammatical attributes. We said we're not worried about grammar right now. So let me give you an example. Look at this question over here that says, اختر الكلمة الغريبة. You have to choose the word that does not belong in this list. So we have أب, أخت, أسرة, and هذه. Okay, أب, أخت, أسرة, and هذه. Obviously, the correct answer is هذه. هذه doesn't belong here. Okay, and then why is that? Okay, because هذه is a completely different category of words. Okay, all of these are if you like people, right? أب أخت الأسرة. Whereas هذه is a demonstrative pronoun. It doesn't talk about people, right? Neither is it related to family because these three are also words that come under the category of family. But some of you chose ab, and I think I know why you chose ab. Because you were looking at it grammatically. You were saying to yourself, أخت is feminine, أسرة is feminine, هذه is feminine, and ab is masculine. Now that's correct in a sense. It's correct if I said to you, or if the purpose was grammar. If we were doing the grammar challenge and you had this kind of question, then this would be the correct answer. Okay, but this is not the grammar challenge. This is the vocabulary challenge. This is about knowing the meanings of the words, right? So, ab being masculine and these being feminine, that's a grammatical thing. It's not something related to meaning. And that's why it's wrong. Okay, so please, going forward, everything you do in this challenge, look at it from the viewpoint and through the lens of vocabulary, not grammar. And once we start the grammar challenge, I will say the opposite. I'll say, look at everything from a grammar perspective and not vocab. So that's with regards to the assignment. Going back and covering today's words, I hope all of you are on WooClap. This week or this day, it's about food and drink. Okay, so we're going to talk about foods, talk about drinks, meal times. Okay, something related to words, food as well, and verbs and function words. Now, today, last time we talked about prepositions and where things are and what have you. Today is more about time. So when it comes to food and drink, you eat at different times. So we're gonna be covering, when it comes to function words, we're gonna be covering some time adverbs. Okay, last time we covered some locational adverbs such as فوق and تحت and what have you. Today we're gonna cover a few time adverbs. Okay, how to mention when something is in relation to another time. Okay, um, طيب. So we have barakallah fikum in terms of food. The first question I'm going to ask you guys on WooClap, I hope you didn't see the answer, is give me three types of food. Okay, so when you think of food, yes, what types can you put them in? Now, the answer needs to be in Arabic. Don't give me English. There's not an English class, right? So go to WooClap, inshallah, and give me three types of food or words that explain three types of food in Arabic. Okay. Okay, let's see what we have. Batata, khubz. La, these are items of food. La, I want types of food. Let me correct this. Types of food, categories of food. Maybe that's a better word. Give me a category of food. A category. What category does tamar come under? What mashroob? La, mashroob is not food. Mashroob is a drink. What category does tufaha come under? What is tufaha? Tufaha هي نوع من أنواع. It's a type of what? تفاحة نوع من أنواع فاكهة. أحسنت. فاكهة not فاكهة. not حاء. هاء. فاكهة with هاء. نعم. not فواكه. فواكه. نعم. فواكه is the plural of فاكهة. أحسنت. طيب. Okay, give me something else. Okay, someone here wrote لهم. لهم means for them. But I think you mean لحم. You see, that's again with the sound recognition. Person here wrote لهم. But I can bet that, of course, we don't bet, but figuratively speaking, that he or she meant لحم. نعم, someone wrote لحم. لحم, meat. نعم, that's a type of food. أحسنت. So we have فواكه, we have لحم, شراب. لا, شراب is not food. فواكه, we have لحم, قدرات. الله أكبر. قدرات means abilities. قدرات means abilities. You meant خضروات. أحسنت, vegetables. Okay, again, importance of sound recognition, spelling. If you were to write an assignment at university, or you were trying to write something, or even type, even imagine you wanted to look for a list of khadrawat in the Arabic language, Or, like I said, imagine you are learning, you want to look for a fatwa related to khadrawat. Let's say, for example, just an example, right? And you wrote in the fatwa ma hukmu akl al qudrat. If you wrote that instead of khadrawat, you will not get the result. You will not get the result, not on Google or Bing or any search engine. Because qudrat means something completely different. Okay? خضروات. نعم. So please focus on sound recognition, spelling, and these what we call the forgotten skills. We will focus on them inshallah in the future. This is not the challenge for it. Inshallah in the future we might do a sound recognition challenge or whatever. But just in your own time, listen more and try to speak more and pronounce things better inshallah. So we have خضروات, we have فواكه, we have لحم. نعم. And then we have لبن. نعم. لبن belongs to what? We call dairy. صح؟ طيب. طيب عندنا, that's the three types of food that we have. We have fruits, vegetables, meat, and dairy. I'm not going to give it to you in Arabic. That's not your level. That's level 2. Level 2 will learn the words for these categories in Arabic. For level 1, I just want you to remember the items that I've given you here. And they're just a few. They're a few. They're not many. Okay, I just choose one or two fruits for you. And the reason we do this, again, please, I want you to have the bigger picture in mind. The purpose of this challenge is that you have a vocabulary bank that is all rounded, well rounded. Yes? So that you have words from different categories. Why is that important? I don't care about the quantity. Even if you know 2 or 3 words from each category is enough. Why is that important? Because when we come to the grammar challenge, where you're going to be making sentences, I want you to be able to think of a word and to recall a word that you can use in that sentence. واضح? So let's say we're doing grammar and I say to you, write me a sentence about your favorite fruit, right? You only need one fruit in order to say something like أحب التمر or أحب العنب, right? That's all you need. And those kind of exercises we're going to do in the grammar challenge. But you cannot do grammar, like I said in the very first lecture. You can't learn grammar without some sort of vocabulary bank. So just remember these. I'm sure there's more that you know. You know tufah, you know moz, you know all these sort of things. But for now, I want you to remember these things. So we have tamra and inaba. One thing that perhaps um, might be new to you, which is I did not say tamar. Okay, and a lot of you will call dates, you will say tamar. And a lot of you will call grapes inab. Or that's what you've heard. Now, please pay attention. These words, Allah yahfadhkum, are words which in Arabic they're called ism al-jins jam'i, something beyond you. But the point is, inab and tamar are plural words. They're plural. Tamar is not one. It's basically tamar, dates. Inab is not one grape. It means grapes. Okay? So if you want to say grape as in one grape, then you would say inabah. One date would be tamra. And so on and so forth. Tufaha, one. Mauza, one. Okay? So you add a ta marbuta to it to make it singular. That's a category of words in Arabic called ism al-jins al-jam'i, whereby the actual word that people normally use is plural, but then to make it singular, you add a ta marbuta. Just like baqar and baqara. Dajaj, dajaja. Okay? طيب. So I just want you to know why we wrote tamra, why we wrote inaba, because that's the singular form. And everything we do at level 1 is we learn singular forms. Then at level 2, we expand on it, we learn the plurals. Okay, so remember the purpose behind each level. Okay, vegetables, we have basala, one onion. Okay, khiyara, one cucumber. Tomatim, which means tomatoes or a tomato. Okay, طيب. Then we have, in terms of meats, we have samaka, one fish. I'm sure you're used to samak. La, samak, that's the category, fish, generally speaking. But imagine you have one fish in your hand, one piece of fish, right? You would say, عندي سمكة. Or you want two fish, you would say, أريد سمكتين. Then if you want more than two, then you would say, أريد سمكة, which can also be made plural by asmak, but that's another day. for another day. So samaka, one fish. Dajaja, one chicken. All right. Dajaj is plural. And from there we have bayda, one egg. I'm sure you're used to bayl again, same thing. Zubda, butter, and jubun, cheese. Okay. So these are the words, inshallah, you're going to be practicing with on Quizlet. Then we have drinks. Drinks are not that many. All right. We have qahwa, ma, shay, halib, and asir. I think most drinks come under one of these five, right? Qahwa, ma, shay, halib, and asir. Coffee, water, tea, milk, and juice. Okay. Then we have meal times. So what are the different times you can eat, right? Um, I was gonna ask you on WooClap, but yalla, let me ask you. Mention the three meal times in Arabic when people eat. Okay? I mean in Arabic it's three mainly, right? We're not including the ones in between. No brunch, huh? La la. Give me the three normal meal times that people have. The one in the morning, the one in the afternoon, the one in the night. Nah, don't give me the times. Give me the meal. There's a difference. Ahsant. Sabah is the time. Sabah is morning. Okay, but you don't say I'm having morning. No, you say I'm having breakfast. Okay, so نأكل الفطور, we eat فطور, breakfast, في الصباح, in the morning. Okay, then we have غداء. Okay, غداء, don't write غدا. Again, another spelling mistake. غدا means tomorrow. Wallahi, Arabic is such a subtle language. One letter, one haraka makes the whole difference. You forgot the small hamza, that tiny hamza you forgot, and the word has changed. غدا means tomorrow, but you wanted to write what? غداء with the hamza at the end. Okay? غداء. And then finally we have عشاء. عشاء, which is what? Um, what we eat at night. Now, suhoor also could be a meal, of course, but suhoor is more like something religious. Iftar and suhoor is something more religious, is when you have it with the intention of fasting. If you're gonna have food in the morning but without the intention of fasting, it's not normally called what? Suhoor. Okay, it's called futur. طيب. And people, they mix up between futur and iftar. لا, iftar is what you have after maghrib when you're fasting. Futur is the breakfast. Fitr, or this, that means mushroom basically. Again, you guys are writing a lot of different words. Futur with a ta, this means getting bored or tired of something. Futur. Hey, انتبه, you have to be careful with your spelling. Futur with a ta, not with a ta. Futira means he was created. And Arabic is such a rich language as well. Even when you make spelling mistakes, you're actually creating meaning, even though it's the wrong meaning. One final point I want to point out, which is this mistake. هذا خطأ. عشاء. لا. عشاء is the time we pray salah. عشاء is the time when we pray salah. عشاء is the meal that we eat at night. So again, look at the difference. The difference is kasra and fatha. Okay? صليت صلاة العشاء. I prayed the Isha prayer. أكلت العشاء. I ate dinner. أكلت العشاء بعد العشاء. أكلت العشاء. I ate عشاء, dinner, بعد العشاء. After Isha prayer. ع and ع. That's the difference. طيب. طيب. ممتاز. Okay. Yes, yeah, the screen, I was on WooClap. I was actually explaining your input. That was your input, and I was touching on that. Okay, so the meal times, I'm going back now, and I'm back on my notes app now. So we have غداء. So let me put in order, by the way. We have فطور, and we have غداء, and we have عشاء. الفطور والغداء والعشاء. Okay, ممتاز. All right, let's take a few verbs. Okay, but before I give you the verbs, yalla, I want you to give me some verbs that you think are related to food. Give me 3 verbs in Arabic related to food. Bismillah. Give me 3 words in Arabic related to food. In Arabic, don't write in English. I know in English you'll give me 30 words. I know. أكل. Okay. نعم. That's what we do with food. صح؟ نأكل الطعام. أكل. I haven't even told you, by the way, the words for food and drink. الطعام والشراب, which is actually a specific chapter in Benedict. الطعام والشراب. طعام means food, شراب means drink. نأكل الطعام, we eat food. أحسنت. طبخ. أيوة. طبخ. Ustad, we did not show the previous categories because you did not show the window. Yeah, I didn't show the which previous categories. Anyway, I'll go over it again. No worries. لكن let's quickly check. We'll clap. So we have أكل, لحم. لا, لحم is not a verb. بارك الله فيك. I said verb, not nouns. Give me verb. What do you do with food? طبخ, you can cook it. أكل, you can eat it. شرب, you drink food. Maybe if you lost all of your teeth. People normally eat their food. نعم. أكل وطبخ. شرب لا. تناول. نعم. That's another more complicated, more advanced word, which is تناول الطعام. طبخ and أكل. So far I have طبخ and أكل only. Come on. شوي, yes, which means to grill it. Is that all you guys can come up with? أكل وطبخ بس. Sorry. شرب is actually correct because we're talking about verbs that are connected to food and drink. Sorry, I have a correction there. Food and drink. So شرب is correct. شرب is correct because we're talking about the whole theme of the day. شرب, أكل, طبخ, خبز. نعم, you can do that to خبز only. All right, let's go back and let's see what other verbs that I have for you, which I consider to be core verbs that you should know when you want to talk about food and drink, which is أكل, of course, شرب, نعم, طبخ, نعم, you got those three. But there's another two that I believe is very much connected to food, which which we all love. We love food, don't we? So you have to learn the word love. أحب, أحب الطعام, أو لا أحب الطعام, whatever. صح? So the word أحب is important. Also, when it comes to different foods, we have different tastes. Okay? So that's why you also have another verb that's important, which is فضل, to prefer. أفضل اللحم, I prefer meat. أفضل القهوة, I prefer coffee. So these are the five verbs that are related to what? Or that have a close relation to food. Okay? طيب. Let's go on to the function words quickly before we finish. I know level 2 guys are waiting for me, but of course we had an announcement to make at the beginning of the lesson that took a little bit of time. So be patient with us. And you can benefit from these function words anyway. So we have in total 4 different function words. Let's start with the time adverbs actually, because that's one of the main themes. No more clap. I was going to ask, but no more clap. So the time adverbs, I only give you 2 actually. I'm only going to give you 2. Okay? Or actually, no, I'm going to add 2 more. I'm going to give you 4 in total. So the first one is قبل and the other one is بعد. Before and after. Okay? Again, you can very much use this with food. So for example, you can say something like آكل الطعام قبل الشراب. Okay? Or you might say, for example, آكل الطعام آكل التفاحة قبل الموزة. For example, I eat this before that. Or آكل الفطور قبل الغداء. I eat breakfast before lunch. وآكل العشاء بعد الغداء. And I eat dinner after lunch. قبل and بعد. Now, of course, قبل and بعد can also be used for location, but they're mainly used for time. You can say something like المسجد قبل البيت, before the house, of course. But it's more related to what? To time. Even when we say المسجد قبل البيت, the message before the house, we mean as in before you get to the house. So it's still related to time. Okay? If we talk about strictly location, we would use the day before yesterday's words for day 2, such as أمام and خلف. That's location. But time, we say قبل and بعد. Okay? I'm going to add 2 words to this, which is اليوم, okay, which is today, and غدا, which is tomorrow. You can say something like لا آكل اليوم. I'm not going to eat today. أنا صائم. I'm fasting. Okay? So we have اليوم, today, and we have غدا, tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to add these to the list of words as well. Right? Right. In terms of question words, I was going to ask you on WooClap, but time's up. But I want you to quickly think about it in your head. What are some good question words that you think can be used for or can be related to food and drink? Okay, so I came up with three. Number one, ma, what? As in, what is this? Or ما هذا أو ما هذه تفاحة. Okay, ما هذا عصير. So ma means what? If you want to ask about anything, you say ma. Now you also have another word that means what in English, but is different in Arabic, which is ماذا. And the difference between ma and ماذا, we're going to go in more detail when we go to the grammar, but so that you understand the meaning, ma is for nouns, ماذا is for verbs. Okay, so you might say something like ما هذا, what is this? But if you want to ask them, for example, what they're eating, you would say ماذا تأكل? What do you eat? What do you want to eat? Or what are you eating? Okay, ماذا تفضل? What do you prefer? So if you want to use a verb, then you say ماذا. If you want to use a noun, you say ما. Sounds complicated, but you'll get into the hang of it, inshallah, with practice when we're doing the grammar challenge. Because now you're just memorizing the word itself. So for now, I'm probably going to write something like what, and then in it, I'm going to write noun. And this one, I'm going to write what, and I'm going to write verb. Another idea that I had, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy. Let me know what you think about it, by the way. You can vote on WooClap. Just write on WooClap. Which is that I'm thinking of adding, actually, I thought about it, and it's part of the advice that we gave on the first session. We talked about how to learn vocabulary. One of the things that we said is learn vocabulary in context. Okay, now on our wish list, inshallah, may Allah make it easy, is that, and hopefully within this challenge as quickly as possible, and hopefully before the quiz, is that we add sample sentences to each word. For each word, we'll give you a sample sentence, and we'll try to upload that to Quizlet as well, maybe as an image, so that we don't need to write something like what for noun, what for verb. We don't need to write that. Instead, we would have ma, and with it would come a sentence such as ma hada. Then you would know, or we would say you would know which sort of ma we're talking about. Or we'd have something like ma da ta'kul. So inshallah, we're going to add sample sentences to the words bi'idhnillah al-kareem, if Allah makes it easy, and make dua for us. Finally, we have the question word hal, is. Okay, so for example, هل تأكل الفطور? Do you eat breakfast? Okay, that's another question word. Then in terms of answers, of course, to all of these questions is either going to be نعم or لا. Okay, at least for the hal, not for the ma. The ma is not going to have a نعم or لا answer, but the hal is. So hal, is this, or do you eat bread? The answer would be نعم, or the answer would be لا. So this question word in particular always necessitates that you answer with yes or no, just like you do in English. If someone says to you, are you full? You say نعم, or you say لا, yes or no. Finally, we have preposition. There's one of the prepositions, or one of the حروف الجر, which is li, for. This would go in line with food and drink. For example, when you say ماذا تأكل للفطور? What do you eat for breakfast? ماذا تأكل للعشاء? What do you eat for dinner? Okay, so I wish all of you, I wish that all of you have a great time practicing on the portal with these words and learning, inshallah ta'ala. And I welcome level 2 right now. If you have any questions, بإذن الكريم, you can ask in the next session, or put it in the groups, WhatsApp groups, and hopefully the moderators will forward it to me so that I can address it, inshallah. Allah يحفظكم جميعا. Level 1, Assalamu alaikum. See you later. Of course, the flashcards and everything are not yet uploaded, but they will be uploaded, inshallah, by tomorrow, along with the assignments. بإذن الله الكريم. We wish everything was ready in advance, but like I said, this challenge is more of a challenge for myself than it is for you, because I want to see what I can get done for you guys in these 14 days, inshallah, because I didn't want to postpone this opportunity. Level 2, أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. We said that we are going to cover the assignment Okay, we're gonna review the assignment for day one. Oh, did I write day two? I mean day one. We're gonna review the day one assignment that you've done. Okay, and then we're gonna cover the new words. All right. So especially for level two and level three, there's a lot to be said when it comes to the assignment. There's a lot to be said, and that's because you guys had the honor and the pleasure of typing answers. So you had to actually type in the answers, whereas level one, they just were clicking away. Okay, so that means the scope for error for you guys was much bigger because now you had to produce knowledge as opposed to receive knowledge. As opposed to recognizing the correct answer and just clicking on it, you had to actually write it down. I made a very important announcement about assignments and the grading of assignments. And a lot of you messaging me saying, Ustad, I wrote it with haraka, but the system didn't accept it, or I wrote it with a fatha and the system said kasra, and these sort of things. Please go back to the beginning of this video later on. Okay, watch that, and hopefully somebody may be able to clip it or share the link to it in the comments. And I always appreciate those of you that do. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah Ta'ala reward you with the best in this world and the next. Those students take it on themselves to actually put the timestamps in the comments is very, very useful. Jazakumullah khair. So we have um, that is that. So return back to that. Right now, I'm just going to talk about some of the common mistakes. Okay, so that everybody can learn from it because we said, what do we say? Huh? These are what? Let me ask on WooClap as a quick warm up. Okay. So what do we call these? These things I'm about to talk about. What do we call them? Who remembers? WooClap link. Someone, please reshare. We'll beat you to it, like I said, because I've got clipboard manager and you don't. There you go. All right. There's a clip. There's the WooClap link again. We call them learning opportunities. Ahsant. Yes. So these are learning opportunities. Wallahi, wallahi. When I look over your answers, yes, you make me smile. I laugh. I laugh. You might be thinking like, why are you laughing, Ustad? I'm not even laughing as in I think it's funny, whatever. La. I laugh because of how you guys open my eyes to the possibilities of what's going on in your head and the sort of mistakes that you make that I would never have imagined that you would have made that kind of mistake because I thought it was easy, because I thought that it's obvious. Okay, the curse of knowledge, like they say, huh? So you guys bring to the table these learning opportunities. This is something that if I were to sit down all day, every day, trying to figure out what kind of mistakes students might make, I would never be as inspired as you guys. طيب. So we have first the average score. Allah yahfadkum is good. Not as good as level one, but again, level one's test was easier than yours. But as you can see, Allahumma barik, out of 32 marks, the median is 29. That is very good, mashallah, tabarakallah. Okay. So most of you are above the 25 mark, mashallah. Few people on 17, but I can't even see anyone below 16, alhamdulillah. In terms of questions, first 144 of you have actually submitted the assignment. Now that's amazing. Allahumma barik. Okay, I'm absolutely blown out of the water with the engagement in this particular course. I did have other courses where people signed up in the thousands, yes, 1,000, 1,500, whatever, but never did I get this sort of engagement, mashallah, which is great news because it means you are benefiting. The more engaged you guys are, the more benefit that is happening, the more transformation that's happening, the more uh, the quicker we'll get to our goal, inshallah ta'ala, of what? Of achieving language shift, like we said. Type. So these are the questions. As you can see, obviously these questions you guys aced it because these were not typing. And here's what a lot of the mistakes are. Well, the mistakes, they're not that bad because, like I said, a lot of you answered with an answer which is actually correct, but the system is very precise. Now, one of the mistakes that obviously most of you made, which you shouldn't be penalized for, and like I said, you're not being penalized for, watch the beginning of the video again. It doesn't matter what grade you get on the assignment, what matters what the grade you get on the quiz. But a lot of you did not follow the instruction when I said don't write tashkil. It said bidun tashkil. And a lot of you went ahead and wrote the fathas and the kasas and the mas. So the system said it's wrong, even though it was not. So please do not write the fatha and the kasas and the mas because we have not written that into the answer. Okay? So in total, there were like 3 questions that had a lot of learning opportunities, if you like. Okay, why am I calling even common mistakes? Let me call it common opportunities. Have to stay true to our motto and consistent. Okay, so these are some of the shared learning opportunities that some of you have fallen into. So the first question, they're all in the writing question by the way. So we have اكتب الجمع الصحيح للكلمات التالية بدون التشكيل. انتبه بدون التشكيل without فتح كسر الضمة. So the sentence says في شركتي 5 موظفون. Now that's the correct answer. موظفون. What answers did we get? طيب, let's look at it. We had some other answers that were actually correct, such as موظفون, with obviously the harakat, fatha, kasras, and dhammas. And also some of you who wrote موظفون, but you did not write the shadda. Now, I will let it slide this time. I'll say to you, okay, it's correct. But in reality, it's not. In reality, it's not. Why is that? Who can tell me? Let me ask who clap. Okay, let me ask you who clap. Why is leaving out the shadda a big deal? Matter of fact, some of you might say, Ustad, did you say no tashkil? I'm making a big deal out of us not writing the shadda. You're the one that said no tashkil. La, I say to you, you have to write the shadda. Who knows why? Why is leaving the shadda out a big deal? Aywa, Allahu Akbar, mashallah. The very first answer is the correct one. Like removing a letter. Aywa. Leaving out the shadda is similar to leaving out a letter. Naam. Because different meaning. Of course, going to be different meaning. There's a difference between قتل and قتل. Okay, there's a difference between the two words, right? There's a difference between darasa and darrasa. That's probably one of the best examples. Darasa and darrasa. The difference between darrasa and darasa right now is the difference between me and all of you. Okay? Which is the shadda. What's the difference? Darrasa means to teach with a shadda. So basically it's 4 letters. Dal, ra, sin. We double the letter. Shadda doubles the letter. Darrasa means to teach. Whereas darasa means to study. So I am doing darrasa. Ana udarris. Wa anta tadrus. So even though the madi, the past tense, seems very similar, darasa and darrasa, look at how it's different in mudari', completely different. Yudarrisu and yadrusu. Even the harakat are now different in the mudari' to show you that they are completely 2 different words. Even look at the verbal noun, the masdar. Darasa darsan. Whereas darasa tadrisan. Okay? Barakallah feekum. So then, please beware of that. Please beware of that. Barakallah feekum. Let's go back to Rem note. Let's go back to the notes. We have موظفون, those that you wrote without shadda, I'll let you off this time, but next time it's wrong. There's some mistakes that you guys made are what? To do with grammar. Some mistakes are grammatical mistakes, such as wrong i'rab. Oh no, what did I do? Sorry, I just refreshed the page. So some of you have done what? Wrong i'rab. What's i'rab? I'rab is basically the haraka, the fatha, kasra, dhamma, whatever takes its place that you put at the end of the word, which shows you the function of that word grammatically. We'll cover that in grammar. So some of you actually changed that. So some of you wrote, and somebody just asked me right now on WooClap. They said, Ustad, isn't it موظفين? لا, it's not موظفين. موظفين is wrong. It is في شركتي 5. لا, it is موظفين. أيوة. How did I overlook that? نعم, this مضاف مضاف إليه. نعم. Okay. 5 موظفين. I would not even have allowed this kind of sentence. Something I have to go back to the teacher who wrote this, I would not even have allowed this kind of sentence because it is what? It includes something that is different from the default. So we're trying to stick to the default, the marfu', because we're not doing grammar. Okay, and that's just the point I was going to make actually, which is I was going to say to you, stick to the default. But it is actually correct. It is موظفين because خمسة is مضاف, موظفين is مضاف إليه. في شركتي خمسة موظفين. نعم. So that's actually, so موظفين موظفون. If you made that, if you wrote موظفون, it's a grammatical mistake, but you did get the word right. You did get the word right. Okay, you did get the word right, which is what? The actual jama', the plural of muwaddaf. It's just that you got the i'rab wrong. If you wrote muwaddafun, muwaddafin being the correct answer, I didn't actually even pay attention to the actual sentence. I just went by what was put in the system. But na'am, khamsatu muwaddafin. Then we have a mistake in number and gender agreement as well, whereby some of you wrote what? Khamsatu muwaddafat. Khamsatu muwaddafat. Now, why is that wrong? One might say, Ustad, why is it wrong? Now, it's wrong for two reasons. Number one, it doesn't say muwaddafa. If this was a ta marbuta, muwaddafa, that would be feminine, then the plural for it would be muwaddafat. Fine. That's one reason it's wrong. Another reason it's wrong is because of khamsa. Okay? There's reverse agreement here. It would have been khamsu muwaddafat, which is something we're going to cover inshallah ta'ala in grammar when we are doing the grammar challenge. How numbers and these nouns, what kind of gender agreement they have, which is one of the most complicated things in grammar actually. And then some of you as well made a mistake in terms of idafa. The idafa construct. Some of you wrote khamsatu muwaddifu or muwaddafu, which, look, we get rid of the noon at the end if the word itself is mudaf. But muwaddafun is not mudaf, it's mudaf ilayh. So we don't get rid of the noon. So whoever made that mistake, pay attention to that. Okay? If it was موظفو الحكومة, for example, government employees or employees of the government, then we'd get rid of the noon. We would say موظفو الحكومة. But now موظفون is مضاف إليه, is not مضاف. Then we have some mistakes that are in terms of vocabulary, and this is the real mistake really in this question, because it was all about writing the correct plural. Some of you wrote completely wrong plural. You came up with things that I've never seen before, which is one of the things that I said I love. Why? Because, it's like how they come up with this. في شركتي خمسة مواظف. I don't know what that is. في شركتي خمسة أموظف or أموظ. And في شركتي خمسة موظف or موظف as well. So again, these are just mistakes that are a result of not having revised the plural properly. Then we have اكتب الجمع الصحيح for the word أستاذ. Okay, أستاذ. Now the أستاذ plural is أساتذة. أساتذة. And one other correct word as well is أستاذون. أستاذون is also correct, even though it's not used very often. It's not used very often, but it is actually technically correct. Some of the mistakes that you guys made quickly, some of you said أدرس النحو مع أستاذة. أستاذة. Now first it's wrong because it seems like it's feminine. And secondly, you wrote a ha, not a ta marbuta. So this would actually be أدرس النحو مع أستاذه. I'm studying nahu with his teacher. Whose teacher? Who are you talking about? طيب, so that is wrong. Then we have أدرس النحو مع أستاذة. That's definitely wrong. Like I said, it's feminine. I didn't say to you make it feminine. I said to you make it plural. أساتذة. And أدرس النحو مع أساتذة. Again, a sound recognition mistake. Difference between ذال and ثاء. Major difference. أساتذة is not Arabic. Then we have some of you that wrote the completely wrong plural. Again, you came up with words that I haven't seen before, such as أدرس النحو مع أستاذات. And that's actually long plural, as in أستاذات. أستاذة, plural أستاذات. That's grammar actually. That's a grammar mistake. Or أدرس النحو مع أستاذة. That's something I've never seen before. So this one actually, أستاذات, is a grammar mistake, whereby you made it feminine. And this is just wrong plural. أستاذة is wrong. could be a spelling mistake as well. And then you got other ones that are like wrong. Number one, why would you write muallimun? Okay, you have the word ustad, write the plural of ustad. You can't write muallimun. Some of you wrote أدرس النحو مع أستاذي. أهلا وسهلا. مرحبا. I like that. But that's not the question. I asked for plural. Some of you said أدرس النحو مع السادة. This one really surprised me. What does sada mean? Sada is the plural of Sayyid, master. So you're basically, as if you're saying, I'm studying Nahu with the masters. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I wonder who you're studying with. With the Sada. Sada is like the highest, the people, the chiefs. You're studying Nahu with the chiefs. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. As-Sada. Naam. طيب. Finally, another question that we have a lot of learning opportunities is ممرضون يعمل في المستشفى ممرضون كثيرون. Okay, that's the correct answer. Some of you wrote ممرضات. That's wrong because ممرض is masculine. Others said ممرضوت. I don't even know what that is. That's kind of like a, yeah, this is kind of, if ممرضون and ممرضات, those two plurals had a baby, it would be ممرضوت, basically. You have the wow for masculine and the ta for feminine. Okay. Very creative, mashallah. يعمل في المستشفى ممرضين. نعم. So this is a grammar mistake. Why? Because ممرضون here is فاعل. It should be with the wow مرفوع and not ممرضين. يعمل في المستشفى ممرضون كثيرون. And then some of you again coming up with wrong plurals such as ممرض or something like that, or مماريض. Again, words I've never heard of before, but that's what it's about. It's about learning opportunities, and these are giving me good options for using as distractors, inshallah, for any future quizzes that I create. طيب. That's with regards to the assignment review. Any questions? Input, please share it on WhatsApp before we go on to explaining these words, which is not going to take long anyway. To be honest, level 2, there's not much explaining. I explained most of the function words and the grammar with level 1. Then we got level 3 guys who are doing some dictionary words, which has a bit of grammar involved. Level 2 is kind of like just, hey, look, we have these words, go and memorize them. So that's why I decided to spend extra time with you guys on reviewing your mistakes, because I know that there's not much to be said when I'm going to share the list of words with you. They're just words from Al-Arabi to Bain Yadayk, no bells, no whistles. But as level 1, I carefully pick for them function words. Level 3, I expand on the words they learned in Bain Yadayk. But level 2 is like, okay, these words I found for you under this theme. Yalla, go and memorize them. Ustad, what's the difference between putting alif in a word and putting alif with Hamza? A major difference. A major difference. Alif is a letter, Hamza is a letter. They're two different letters. Okay, so if you put a Hamza on an alif, alif just becomes a chair. So that letter now becomes a Hamza. Now what's the difference? The difference is massive. The difference is massive. The difference is the difference between, I'll give an example. It's the difference between a statement and a command. Now imagine in the Quran, if you understood a statement as a command or a command as a statement. Has a major problem, صح? Let me give you an example. أستيقظ, for example. أستيقظ means I wake up. Okay, استيقظ means wake up to you. There's a difference. صح? So it's a major difference. Barakallahu feekum. As a matter of fact, it completely changes the meaning of the word most of the time. And I know a lot of people, they overlook the Hamza and they don't. Look, Hamza, there's two types of Hamza. There's Hamzatul Qata' and Hamzatul Wasl. Hamzatul Wasl is the one that looks like a small squiggly line, a small squiggly sad. That one is just like Alif. There's no difference. Right? That Hamzatul Wasl, it has specific rulings, but in normal Arabic writing, they don't add that squiggly line for Hamzatul Wasl. So it just looks like Alif in terms of spelling. But Hamzatul Qata', the Hamza that you know, لا, that one is a completely different letter. Completely different letter. طيب. Do we just rote memorize plurals, or is there a pattern we should memorize? لا, you rote memorize them. Apart from those plurals, obviously, there are what we call sound plurals. Sound plurals, you've memorized the pattern. Like ممرضون is a sound plural. It's similar as ممرضون, مؤمنون, مفلحون, كافرون. They're all the same. That's a pattern. You add a waw and a noon. Okay? And these words, that where you normally add a waw and noon, for the most part, they are nouns that talk about people. عاقل. Okay? People. يعني beings with intellect. They're the ones normally you add a waw and a noon. Same thing with females, you add an alif and a ta. Okay? However, when you have the broken plural, the plural that does not follow a pattern, you have to rote memorize those. And they are the ones that we mainly include in the flashcards. We might add one or two, fi'l salim here and there just to keep you on your toes. We might add one or two or three sound nouns to keep you on your toes. Right? But for the rest, what you should focus on in this vocabulary challenge is memorizing the jam' al-taksir, the broken plural, because that does not follow. I mean, there are patterns. The patterns can kind of like be combined, and they can be, I can tell you, for example, there's X amount of patterns that has been found in the language for broken plurals. But the question is, this particular word, which pattern does it belong to? Like, that's a very difficult thing to ascertain. Okay? You can't really deduct that from the meaning of the word or anything else. Learning opportunities are good and helps you learn. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's the only way you learn. Nah. مماريض أيوة. You know? So that's the example, for example, ممرضون or ممرض. If it was a جمع التكسير, what would it be? مماريض. Okay? Or أمراض. You know, أمراض. Look, أمراض as well. One might say ممرض جمعه أمراض. Imagine someone said that. أمراض is the plural of مرض, which is disease. You know, now there's a connection there. Look, subhanAllah, how the connection there is between what? I'm not sharing the WooClap screen, am I? Thank you for reminding me. That's a good way, actually, of getting my attention with just typing on WooClap when I'm talking about WooClap. Ahsant or Ahsanti, whichever one may be. So, yes, there's a connection between marad and mumarrid. There's a connection. They go back to the same root, right? Because what does a nurse do anyway? A nurse treats or helps you with treating a disease, right? So there's a connection there between marad and mumarrid, at-tamrid. Yes, but there's a world of difference in meaning. So imagine you said mumarrid jam'uhu amrad. If you said the plural of nurse, mumarrid is amrad, diseases. That's a problem, right? So please keep an eye on these words. And that shows you the importance of this sort of challenge. Barakallahu feekum. Naam. Road memorizations that we need. If the app portal says that I've completed 50% of the learning of day one, how do I know what else remains to be done? I don't pay attention to that. Not a big deal. I think the other 50% is probably watching the replay, which you maybe don't need to watch because you're here live. So don't worry about the app's 50% or 20 or 30%. The app, you have everything that you need. Use as much as much or as little of it as you need. We're gonna upload everything there, but if you just attend live and do the assignments, you're good. Alhamdulillah, you'll pass the challenge. Okay, all of you, look, you guys are adults, all of you at least, I suppose. All right, which means all of you came here of your own intention. Okay, you're the one that is self-motivated to attend this class. Okay, I'm giving you no money or anything in return. Right? Jazakumullah khair. So for that reason, yes, as much as, yes, we give certificates to those who have completed it, yes, we're not going to be that strict about it in terms of telling you to do exactly what to do. You have that flexibility to use as much of the resources or as little of it as you need, as long as you keep going and you're consistent, inshallah ta'ala, and you'll make it to the end of this challenge. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay. Okay, so don't worry about the plural, the app portal saying 50% or 40% or whatever it says. Just do your assignment and ace your quiz. Right? Quickly, the words for level 2. I can see the level 3 guys are probably joining us now. Hello, Salan, if you are. Of course, we're running a bit late, like always, but this time because we had some announcements to make at the beginning. So you level two guys, the words you're gonna memorize are foods, right? Foods, because the theme is food and drink. And I'm gonna ask you one quick question on WooClub because I haven't asked you many questions, which is give me three things or three words related to food. Give me anything as long as related to food, and try to avoid level one words if you attended level one. Okay, or in other words, just try to be as uh, advanced as possible if you like in the word choice. Where is the quiz? Quiz is not being posted. The quiz is going to be posted, like we said, and I made that announcement at the beginning of the video, beginning of this lecture. We're going to have two quizzes: midterm quiz, final quiz. Midterm quiz will be posted after day 4. Okay, which is day after tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, or something like that. Anyway, طيب. Write me three words related to food. Bismillah. In Arabic, of course. Don't write no English. Does drinks count? Yes and no. All right. Related to food and drink, no problem. Yalla. Because that theme is food and drink anyway. Mango, rose, har, laham. Okay, don't give me items. Okay, let me correct things. Do not give me items of food. We'll come to items. We'll talk about all the vegetables and all the fruits and everything. Give me general words that are related to food. General words that are related to food. General words that are related to food. So shurb is good. Okay, food and drink. That's actually the name for it. Okay. Um, عشاء أحسنت. Dinner. أكل eating. الله أكبر أحسنت. Um, سلطة خضروات. نعم, those are general words. خضروات. التناول. نعم, which means to eat as well or to ingest. بهارات spices. أحسنت. بارك الله فيك. فطول. الروت فطولس. I've got the meaning. I've got the feeling you're trying to say فطور with a ra. Footer. Again, I don't know what footer is. Fouter. Actually, fouter. You know what this means in Arabic? Especially in the Gulf countries? It means bill. Your phone bill. Okay? So you have to write a ta for futur. Ta, not ta. Ishrab. No, not ishrab. Shurb, yes. Sharab, yes. Ishrab, no. Ishrab means something else. وأشربوا في قلوبهم العجل, Allah said. That's something else. طيب. صحن. لا, مو صحن يا أخي. صحن. صاد. صاد. صحن, not صحن. Okay. حار أكل أشرب. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. طيب. لذيذ مطبوخ محمص. Oh, ما شاء الله. This is very advanced student, ما شاء الله. Very, very advanced words. أحسنت. لذيذ مقالي. نعم. Fried foods. طيب. طيب. All right. Let's be quick now. I'm going to show you the words that we have for you and then you can go and memorize them, inshallah. And I'll start with level 3. So we have these words. We have طعام, we have فواكه, we have bun, we have sukkar, we have aruz. All of this is in بين يديك, huh? Between units 1 and 16. Hadi, also kind of related to food. Probably this one should probably be with worship, actually. I'm going to relocate this one. Udhiyah and sacrificial, I'm going to relocate that. Bread, علبة as well. علبة, why? Because you can have a box or a container of salt. علبة ملح وهكذا. Then you have times of the day. Again, we've already done the meal times or the meals. فطور, غداء, عشاء. We've done that with level 1. You guys should also know the times of the day. Because you can say something like آكل الفطور في الصباح. آكل العشاء في الليل. So you have ليل, which means night, or ليلة, which means one particular night. But let's just say stick to the general word, which is ليل. You have صباح, morning. You have غروب, sunset, or maghrib as well. وقت المغرب or وقت الغروب, opposite of it being شروق. And we have مساء, evening. Okay, so these words again are in what? بين يديك. Of course, we can expand on it. We can add other words. We can add their opposites, such as الليل and النهار, الصباح and المساء, الغروب and الشروق. Okay, we can do that. But we'll do that for level 3. And then some adjectives. Barakallah fikum. Actually, I want you to give me this is the final question before level three. You start level three, huh? Final question. Yalla, warm up. This is for level three as well to warm up their fingers. Bismillah. Write three adjectives related to food and drink. Okay? If you don't know what adjectives are, in Arabic they're called sifa, which are description words. Words you use to describe something. So give me three ways in which you can describe food or drink. ممتاز. لا, that is too general. أحسنت. لذيذ, that's good one. I want something specific to food and drink. لذيذ, which means tasty. أحسنت. بارد. نعم نعم. قد يكون الطعام باردا. صحيح. لذيذ. لا إله إلا الله. لا, مو لذيذ. لذيذ with ذال. Okay, this one here. That's how you write لذيذ with ذال, two dhals, not two zai. جميلة جدا. I want to use that for food and drink. Maybe you can use that word maybe when you get to a chapter called marriage or something. لا, جميلة جدا, or maybe a house or a شقة. I know some people they use it. Don't get me wrong. People they might use it in slang speech or on the street, but normally you don't describe food as being beautiful unless you're all about looks. But I think taste is more important when it comes to food than presentation. But that's for you guys to talk about. صغير. لا لا لا. I wouldn't use صغير for food unless you're talking about a specific piece of fruit. But I think what you're looking for is قليل. That's what I think you're looking for. قليل, which means little, not صغير, small. Unless you're talking about the plate, like I said, or a piece of fruit. I would say قليل. I haven't switched the screen. Yeah, I'm not really good at this. I miss Zoom. Zoom used to allow me to share two screens at the same time. Type, or I mean, when I move, it would move with me. محروق, yeah, burned. That's a good one. MashaAllah. الطعام محروق. الطعام كثير, opposite of قليل. طويل, again, another thing. طويل, لا. I would use طويل to describe food. Unless, again, you're talking about a specific piece of fruit. Maybe a carrot being tall or something. But you don't really describe food with being tall, do you? حلو, sweet. مقرمش, crunchy. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. You guys are killing it. أحسنتم أحسنتم. طيب. Okay. Those are the adjectives. And again, of course, you can have your list tomorrow on Quizlet that you can practice with. The words that we have from بين يديك are as follows. We have مبكر and متأخر. You might be like, what do you mean, Ustaz? What does that got to do with food? Well, it's got more to do with when you're eating. You might be like, آكل الفطور مبكرا or متأخرا. You have نحيف and سمين, which is not about the food, it's about the consequences of food. It's abundance or lack of it that makes someone نحيف or سمين. So again, nobody mentioned that. Of course, we have جوعان, which means to be hungry. Cold, one of you mentioned بارد. أحسنتم. Hot, حار. Full, شبعان, being full. Okay, and لذيذ, tasty. And there are other words as well, of course, but these are the ones that we have chosen for you. We might have added one or two extra ones that are not in بين يديك, but generally speaking, most of these words are in بين يديك units 1, 2, 16, or مستوى, what they call as the whole level 1. طيب, حياكم الله, level 2. Have a great day. You can stick around if you want for level 3. And I welcome level 3 guys. حياكم الله. Now, again, if you're just joining us, I have to say to you again, like I said to level 2 guys, go back to the beginning of the video for some very important announcements with regards to what? Assignments, Quizlet, Harakat, and these sort of things. WhatsApp. Please go back to the beginning of the video, inshallah ta'ala. And while you're at it, of course, or if you're watching this replay, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially after the stream is over, inshallah. I know all of you are very active in the chat, mashallah. But to help with the spread of the khair, also leave behind a comment on the video that is for replay, inshallah. طيب, so I leave that to you guys to go back to it. I also encouraged all the students to try out the YouTube clipping feature. Very beautiful feature which allows you to spread the khair and raise awareness about this class. Which is, if you have your pen in hand right now, pen and paper, if you come across something that's beneficial, funny, enlightening, whatever that you would like to share with others, YouTube has a clipping feature. You just quickly go to that feature. It literally takes 2 seconds to take a 1 minute clip or less that you can share on your WhatsApp status, or you can share with family and friends, or you can put it in the groups. And like I said, it will not go unnoticed. First and foremost, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll get your reward, and his angels who write it down. It will not go unnoticed as well by the Upskill Arabic team, especially when it comes to nominating those students who are the most engaged in the course, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, level 3. Again, I apologize. I'll keep on apologizing because level 3, I'm just playing catch up because of the electricity situation in Egypt. We're still behind on the dictionary words, and it's stopping us and holding us back from even posting the assignment. I've posted assignment day 2 for level 1, and level 2 have been posted, but level 3 not yet. So I'm really sorry for that. Um, but inshallah, I promise you that tomorrow that will be my main priority, to try and get level 3 up to date, inshallah, and finally catch up. Okay, so now we're gonna have supplementary words to talk about today, but more important than that is we're going to review uh, the the assignment for day 1, and we're gonna look at some of the common learning opportunities, of course, that we can learn from, inshallah ta'ala, and benefit from, so that everybody, uh, improves, inshallah ta'ala. So first and foremost, the average score, Allahumma barik, is good. Not as good as level 1 and level 2, but I didn't expect that because level 1, level 2, mashallah, their exams easier than yours. But on average, we can see that more than half of you have got more than 60 or 70%. So it's kind of like halfway with halfway. But even the lowest grades that we've got is maybe 14 percent. 14, sorry, enough percent, 14 out of 30, which it can be improved. I'm not going to lie to you. Level 1 had something around 29 out of 30. Level 2 had something around the lines of Allah knows best. But the issue is, some of these issues or some of these marks are not because you actually got it wrong. Let me be straight. And that's why I told you to go back to the beginning of the video. It's not because you got it wrong, it's because we said in the question, bidun tashkil, don't write fatha kasras and dhammas, and a lot of you have written fatha kasras and dhammas on the answer, and the system has rejected it. So again, the assignment, it doesn't matter what grade you get. It's all about you comparing the answer that we've given you with your real answer, and you can give yourself whatever grade you like, because these grades will not affect your completion of this course or the final mark that you get. The final mark is only decided by the completion, number 1, of doing the assignments, and by the quiz, which is going to be a midterm quiz and a final quiz. That's it. That's what will determine your mark and your grade, not these assignments, not the grade of the assignments, the completion of the assignments. So for each assignment that you complete, you get a mark, even if you don't get a high grade. That's the gist of what we mentioned earlier today. In terms of overview of the actual questions themselves, now first and foremost, over 180, about 182 of you have submitted it, mashallah, tabarakallah. Again, like I said, the engagement in this course is absolutely phenomenal. Allahumma barik. May Allah Ta'ala keep all of you steadfast, because in total, I think almost 700 of you have submitted work. That's amazing. But some questions, as you can see, were more challenging than others, specifically those questions where you had to type. I think all of your questions were typing, actually. So let's talk about some of those mistakes and let's address them. So we have mainly ترجم الكلمات التالية إلى العربية. That's where most mistakes were made, which was a translation requirement. So we had 4 words, actually, we had 5 words, I think, in total, but these are the ones we're going to cover, which is president, worker, to send, and to know. So 2 nouns and 2 verbs. 2 nouns and 2 verbs. President, the correct answer was Ra'is, which again, most of you got it right, alhamdulillah. But some of you got it wrong, and this is the sort of mistakes that you made. And as you can see, the mistake goes back to Hamza. And I saw that coming anyway. Okay. Um, This person wrote race. لا, it's not a race. رئيس. Where is the Hamza? رئيس. You have to write the Hamza, otherwise it's going to be read as race. And this person did write رئيس. Well done. But the issue is that Hamza, in this particular word, it needs to sit on top of a small platform, right? And Hamza is one of the most problematic letters in the Arabic language. Not one of the most problematic letter in the Arabic language. It's very entitled. All the time it gets carried around by other letters, right? It doesn't like to be on the floor. It doesn't like to sit on the floor. It likes to have its chair. It likes to be on its throne, right? And it utilizes three different letters for that: alif, ya, and waw. And that ya sometimes has dots, sometimes it doesn't. And it's just a headache, right? It's a headache. So that's why you got this wrong. Okay. But there are rules that govern this. Alhamdulillah. It's not completely returning to how Hamza feels. At least there are rules. Okay. A very entitled king on his throne, but he does follow a pattern. Okay. He doesn't just sit on any throne at any time. He has got his ritual, his pattern when he sits on a dhamma, as on wow, when he sits on a ya, when he sits on a alif, and when the king says, you know what, today I feel like walking. All right. But that's something you learn in imla, a topic or a science in Arabic called imla, which basically is science of spelling. Basically, there are rules that govern that. Not something we're covering now, but inshallah we might touch on it in the grammar challenge, or maybe as a side thing as part of this challenge. But I just have to point out that mistake for now. عامل, worker. Some of you wrote موظف. موظف actually means employee. And there's a difference between عامل and employee, worker and employee, um, as you can understand from the word itself. Some of you wrote عالم. لا, عامل, not عالم. You mixed up the two letters. عالم means scholar. Okay, may Allah make us all from the العلماء العاملين. One of the du'as that, you should make. Okay, always make this dua. Allahumma ja'alni min al-ulama al-amilin. It's not a prophetic dua or anything. Um, of course, as you know, when it comes to dua, stick to the prophetic duas as much as possible. But that's a noble endeavor to be from those scholars who act upon their knowledge. Al-ulama al-amilin. Okay? Or you can say instead, which is far better, of course, اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا صالحا متقبلا. That's a prophetic dua. Okay? Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge and good sustenance and good deeds, or deeds that are good, righteous, and accepted by you. So dua you should make every morning. First thing in the morning. Okay? اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا صالحا متقبلا. I sidetracked there a little bit. طيب. To send. To send is, well, the way we write verbs is arsala. We use the madi. We use the past tense. We don't use the present tense because the past tense is the asal. The present tense is taken from the past tense. So keep that in mind. Even though Benidek does it different. Benidek gives you yursil or yakul instead of akala. So arsala is to send. Some of you wrote irsal. La, irsal is the verbal noun. Okay, which would be sending. Okay, not to send, sending. Irsal. Okay, and even that irsal, some of you wrote it with Hamza, some of you wrote it without. Okay, now the arsala has to have a Hamza, by the way. If you wrote arsala without Hamza, then it's wrong. Why? Because if you write arsala, like this person did, I think, or one person I saw it, which is that if you write, and someone asked earlier, I think was it level 2 or level 3, I can't remember. I think at the end of level 2, someone said, Ustad, what's the difference between Alif and Hamza, or using it or not using it? This is a perfect example. Okay? Because with the Hamza, it's read as either arsala or arsil. Ursil, yes, which is he sent or I'm sending. Whereas without the Hamza, if you just write the Alif, it would be pronounced as irsil, send. Okay, not even send. It would be arsil, because arsala Yursilu, arsil, that's the correct way. But this would be irsil, which is not from the verb arsala aslan, yes, but similar verbs like this, when the hamza is not there, it turns into a command tense. So keep that in mind. Then we have to know alima, alima. Some of you wrote arafa, which is okay. It's just it wasn't part of our word list, but it's fine. And some of you said allama. Again, we talked about this. Major difference between shadda and no shadda. And this is a perfect example. I actually gave earlier the different example of darasa and darrasa, which, like I said, is different between me and you guys. Same thing here. Alima and allama is also a difference between what I'm doing right now, what you guys are doing. You are alima, you're knowing, you're coming to know of something, you're learning. Okay? Whereas I'm doing allama, I'm teaching. U'allim. So a world of difference between the two words. But it's only a shadda. But that shadda, like we said, it is not to be overlooked. It is not to be underestimated. Why? Because that shadda stands the place of another letter. You're doubling the letter. You remove the shadda or you add the shadda, you've changed the meaning. If someone were to do that on purpose, someone were to add shaddas in the Quran on purpose, yes, he would be changing the meaning of the Quran. And if he did that on purpose, of course, it would lead to him leaving the fold of Islam. Yeah, that's how serious shadda is. you know, أمر الشدة شديد. أمر الشدة شديد. The affair of the shadda is shadid, it's severe. Don't overlook it. Some of you, when you're typing, when you're writing Arabic, there are things that you overlook. Shadda, Hamza, you know, Alif Maqsura. You guys think these are just mashakliyat. These are just, what do you call them? You think these are things, cosmetical things. لا يا شيخ. These things, they change meanings, يا أخي. You have to learn how to spell properly. Otherwise, you're gonna. I mean, obviously, you'll read things wrong yourself as well. Because if you don't think that there's a difference between shadda and no shadda, then whenever you come across a word with ayn, lam, and mim, you're gonna be like, oh, 1 minute, are they saying teaching or learning? La. If it was teaching, they would have added the shadda. They wouldn't have overlooked that. So now, I mean, Arabic, they don't write the harakat. You know that, right? Fatha, kasras, dhammas in normal classical books, they're not written. But that doesn't go for shadda. Shadda normally is there. Okay? Or, I mean, a lot of books is there because it makes a difference. It makes a major difference. And then one person wrote i'lam, which means no, which obviously is different because we asked for the origin. Origin is the past tense, alima. From alima, we take ya'lamu, he knows, we take i'lam, know, the command tense. So whenever you come across this kind of question in future assignments that asks you for a verb, then you write the past tense. Right? Any questions? That science was called imla. Imla. Not amala. Imla. Okay. Any questions before we go on to the next point? Wallahi, my dear brothers and sisters, from day one, when I was doing this challenge, one of the biggest intentions behind it and objectives behind this challenge, right, was to gain these kind of learning opportunities because that will inform us and give us a lot of good insight when it comes to creating future resources. That's one thing. Secondly, um, another issue is that, barakallah fikum, is that when it came to these live sessions, the main purpose of these live sessions, even though it's kind of like filling in the gaps, day one and day two, the main purpose of these live sessions was to review the assignments aslan. That was the main purpose. To look at your work, make corrections, and give you some new work. So alhamdulillah, I hope we have achieved some of that today. Okay? Now, another issue someone said is we have to stick to the words in the list only. I made this mistake in Talib and Tilmid. No, you didn't make that mistake, sister. You didn't make that mistake. It's correct. It's correct. If the question said write student and you wrote Tilmid or you wrote Talib, your answer is correct. It's just that we, in the system, we put one answer. Okay? But if you know that Tilmid and Talib are the same thing, and you wrote talib or tilmeed, then you can consider your answer to be correct. We talked about at the beginning of the session about the assignments and what the purpose of these corrections are. The purpose of the corrections is to give you one of the correct answers so that you can compare that to your answer. If you happened to answer exactly like it was uploaded to the system, then mashallah, well done. But if not, but your answer is still correct, then it is correct. How should we study the words? Wallah, we spent the whole lecture on that at the beginning of this program about how to study and memorize vocabulary. Plus, we gave you tons of resources. So the short answer to your question is, how do we study words? By making use of the resources that we've given you on the portal and keep going at it, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. Someone said, Ustad, can you please write the first dua for us, please? If you mean the one that just I make, yes, it's not nothing. It's just the dua that I like to make, which Allahumma ja'alni min al-ulama, make me from the scholars, al-amilin, who act upon their knowledge. There you go. Okay? Like I said, the second dua I gave you is more deserving of being memorized and recited. Remembering Jama' Mukassar is difficult. I think you mean Jama' Taksir. Can we get the list? Yeah, the list is part of it. I mean, it's part of it. The plurals that you learn are mainly Jama' Taksir. We do throw in one or two Jama' Salim just to keep you on your toes, but they should be mainly Jama' Taksir. Where's the list of words? Okay, so list of words, the dictionary words are being worked on. But the words that we have right now for you, that should be on WooClap, that should be on the portal tomorrow, are these words, the supplementary words. Did we cover this actually? We covered all of this, huh? Okay, mumtaz. Are these level 3? No. What day are we on? No, not day 1. Day 3. So food and drinks, basically, we have fruits, vegetables, and general words connected to food. This is obviously on top of all of the words we've done for level 1, which is food, drinks, meal times, verbs, and some function words, and the words done in day 2, which were about foods, times of the day, and adjectives. In total, about 100 words, right? But if you have done your Bain Yadayk level 1 and 2, then you don't need to do this. Just focus on these new words. The supplementary words for now, and the dictionary words, which will be posted hopefully by tomorrow. Now, quickly, I'm going to ask you to name 3 fruits and name 3 vegetables. And then after that, or meanwhile, I'm also going to talk about something else that's important. When you give the dictionary words, are we to learn the tasrif? Yeah, not all of the tasrif. Dictionary words are just the verb and the verbal noun, i.e. the verb and the masdar. If you memorize that for now, then that's good enough. I might add the mudari', but not that you need to memorize it, but just for you to remember and to differentiate between 2 verbs, because 2 verbs might in madi be the same but different in mudari', such as hasiba, yahsibu, and hasiba, yahsubu. They're 2 different verbs, even though the madi is the same. Kabira and kabura, 2 different verbs. طيب, write me, name 3 fruits, inshallah. Name 3 fruits. And meanwhile, let me find those notes, what I wanted to cover. I don't know where it went. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right. When is the day 2 assignments due? Day 2 assignments should be due by today, but it's all right if you do it till tomorrow. It's fine. عنب, موز, طماطم. تفاحة, عنب, تمر. طماطم, موز, برتقال. Okay. Now regarding عنب and these sort of things, I made some important points when I was teaching level 1, which is that عنب is plural. You do know that, right? عنبة is singular. Tufaha is singular. So most of the fruits and vegetables, or a lot of them, the form that you're familiar with is actually the plural form. And to make it singular, you add a ta marbuta. So tamar is dates, generally speaking. It's called ism jins al-jam'i. But to make it a singular tamar, if you had like 1, one date, you would say tamrah, tufaha, mawzah, inabah, and so on and so forth. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, I didn't share the screen because I was going to go on to this point, which is some important spelling considerations that you guys need to make, need to keep in mind. Okay, we're gonna suffice with that. These were the lists, fruits. You're gonna have them anyway. Lemon, orange, pomegranate, apricot. All of these have been taken from what? From Benedict, the theme section. Like I said, Benedict at the end has got 15 different themes. One of the themes is called fruits, and one of the themes is called vegetables. And I think there's another one called food as well. So all of this has been taken from those themes, and some of them I have also assigned to level 1, level 2. Okay, so these are the words, inshallah. Memorize them, as much of them as you can, so that when we come to the grammar challenge, you can make as many different sentences as possible. Now, important spelling considerations. Okay, this is not all of it, but this is some of the most common mistakes that I see people making when it comes to spelling over the years that I've taught. And I'm not going to explain exactly now how everything works, but I just want you to consider these things. Because why do I say to you consider it? Because even if you don't know why it is the way it is, I'm giving you the words in flashcards, ain't I? So what I'm saying to you right now is remember the way it's spelled in the flashcard and memorize it that way. Do not think it's not important. Because if you do spell it without that consideration, it's going to be considered wrong. Now the first one is either no harakat or full harakat. The choice is yours, but no mix, please. This has to do with something we're trying to implement on the portal. It's not going to be easy, which is we're going to add a form with full harakat and a form without harakat, so that if you do either one of the two, your answer will be marked as correct. But you can't do a mixture of both. You can't be like haraka on the first letter and second and not on the rest. And we have our own convention that we talked about, which is we don't add harakat to the last letter. We don't add the harakat that normally changes with grammar, which is called harakatul i'rab, which needs a bit of grammar background. But for the most part, 90% it's the last letter. We don't add the haraka because that haraka is not default haraka. A lot of, I believe, teachers or books, they make this mistake that when they teach someone Arabic, they teach them with the default dhamma. They say, okay, let's learn these words. هذا كتاب وهذا بيت وهذا قلم. And then the student somehow he thinks that قلم is the actual word. So that later on, when it comes to actually trying to adjust grammatically by saying أريد قلما, it takes him quite a while to actually get rid of that which he has practiced his tongue with, which is qalamun. Because now he is like really internalized qalamun and kitabun, the dhamma as a default, whereby it becomes difficult now what? For him to actually learn real Arabic, which is, hey, it could be qalamun, it could be qalaman, it could be qalamin. It depends on the context. He's going to be like, what? What are you talking about? Well, I've learned this qalamun. And they actually speak like that as well. They'll say something like, هذا qalamun. I tell you what, if you're looking for a way for someone to figure out that you're just starting to learn Arabic, or that you've learned Arabic as a second language, trust me, there's no better way than to add the haraka to the end of every single word, even when you're stopping. This, like Shaykh Muhammad al-Jami says, and some of the scholars they mention, this from the way of the Ajims, the way of the non-Arabs, or people that learn Arabic as a second language, whereby they add the haraka to the word on which they stop. La, that's not how the Fusha is. And that's not how you read Quran. When you read Quran, do you say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin? Do you say that? No, you don't. You say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. When it comes to the last word, you end on a sukoon. So you need to get into the habit of, if you're going to say a word by itself, then don't pronounce the last haraka, because that haraka is unknown. Why are you defining it? Why are you making it dhamma? It could be a kasra or whatever. It has no value yet. That value is only determined by grammar. So if I'm going to say to you, for example, I'm going to teach you a word, qalam, I'm going to teach you like that. I'm going to say qalam, kitab, sabura, huh? Ab, sayyara. I'm not going to say to you, sayyaratun, huh? And pronounce the ta marbuta at the end. La. That ta marbuta maybe turns into a ha if you're stopping on it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. طيب. So that's one thing. So we don't add the haraka to the last word. Another thing that you need to keep, uh, you need to consider is if the word ends with fathatain or fathatan, two fathas, then don't forget to add the alif. So two fathas always come with an alif. Okay, two fathas. Okay, add an alif. Why? Because it's called maddul iwad. That's how we stop. Again, example from the Quran. What do we say? Huh? إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا. May Allah make us from Ahlul Jannah. All of these words we end with a at the end. But actually it's إن للمتقين مفازا. Zan, it's got two fathas at the end. But why do we end with a? Because the two fathas come with an alif. The alif is a backup. The alif is there in case you stop on the word so that you stretch it. It's a backup. That's one function. Another beautiful function, subhanAllah, this language is unbelievable. Another beautiful function of the alif is that when it comes to Arabic, a lot of people they don't know this. When it comes to grammar, yes, there's a reason why fatha and kasra kind of look alike. One at the top, one being at the bottom. There's a reason why. And there's a reason why dhamma looks drastically different. It's because mansub and majroor in many places in grammar, they overlap. They have the same ruling a lot of times. Why is that the case? Because those words that have kasra and those words that have fatha, grammatically speaking, they don't cause much confusion in terms of meaning. Mixing them up doesn't cause a lot of confusion in meaning. It's a cosmetical mistake. Like if you say something like ana fil bayta, it should be fil bayti, right? If you say fil bayta, it's like okay, that sounds it's an ear sore, right? Wow, it's cringeworthy, right, to hear that. But I know what you're saying. But the same can't be said about the fatha and the dhamma. The fatha and dhamma, they change the complete meaning. Making a mistake in fatha and dhamma is changing the whole meaning most of the time. Mixing between marfu' and mansub is a big deal. Right? Now, when it comes to Arabic, I'm sidetracking here, but inshallah this will benefit you. When it comes to Arabic, writing in particular, especially since they write Arabic language with no harakat, if it wasn't for the alif, reading an Arabic book would have become way more difficult. Because that alif now allows you to differentiate between marfu' and mansub, i.e. between fa'il and maf'ul. Because like we said, the meaning changes. Daraba Zaydun Amran is way different from Daraba Zaydan Amrun. Okay, I mixed the dhammas and the fathas. In one of them, Zayd is the perpetrator, Amr is the victim. The other one, Amr is the perpetrator, Zayd is the victim. Now, if this is a court case, it's a big difference, right? One is going to go to jail, one's going to get compensated, right? So, how do you know the difference? Like, let's say, Daraba Khalidun Zaydan. How would you know if there's no fatha, kasra, and dhammas when people are writing? How would you know who did what? The alif comes to your rescue. Don't overlook the alif. It's important because the word that has the alif is the maf'ulun bihi. The word that has the alif is what? The maf'ulun bihi. And the one that doesn't have the alif is going to be the fa'il. Okay? All right, quickly. The shadda should always be written. We already mentioned that. Don't mix up between alif with a hamza and alif. And wallahi, I wrote these actually way before today's assignment. And subhanAllah, it's unbelievable how these mistakes came up in the assignment as well. But I suppose, like I said, this is from experience of having marked a lot of work. Also, there's a difference between, let me make these actually bigger so that you can see what's written. Okay. As much as there's a difference between alif with a hamza on top and alif with no hamza, there's also a difference between alif with a hamza on top or an alif with a hamza underneath. Why? Because with the hamza on top is going to be a, with underneath is going to be e. So don't overlook that. Also, pay attention to how the hamza is written. If it's either on top of a ya or a wa or an alif. Why? Because again, because Arabic does not have the fatha and kasra and dhammas written in most books, most classical books, The chair that the Hamza is sitting on is gonna tell you the i'rab. It's gonna tell you if it's marfu or mansub. Because the chair it's sitting on, it indicates the haraka that the Hamza has. If the Hamza has Dhamma, is going to be sitting on a wow. If it's got Kasra, it's going to be sitting on a ya. If it's got Fatha, it's going to be sitting on Alif. Again, things that people they overlook, but that need to be taught. Also, there's a difference between Alif Maqsura, which is the ya with no dots, and the ya with dots. Okay, so for example, there's a major difference between Yajri, okay, and Yujra. Big difference. Okay, big difference. Difference between passive or مبني للمجهول or مبني للمفعول. Again, it's a major difference in terms of meaning. All right. For example, if you were to say um, من يهدي الله فلا مضل له. Okay. Or نعم. Okay. If you say يهدي or يهدى. يهدي or يهدى. يهدي means to guide. يهدى means to be guided. That someone else guides you. So imagine if you mix up between Yahdi and Yuhda because you didn't add the two dots to the Ya, the whole meaning will change. Allah is not guided. Allah guides. So you imagine you say Yuhda Allah. Mushkila. La Yahdi Allah. Okay, how do we know if it's Yuhda or Yahdi? Especially if the book is not going to have Fatha, Kasra, and Dhammas written. The difference are those two dots. You see, the connection seems far to you, right? But subhanAllah, this is what people do when they read Arabic. There's so much, and the brain is amazing, subhanAllah. And wallahi, I'm not saying all of this for you to run a mile. Wallahi, it comes natural. Everything I'm talking about right now is not even something that I formally studied or whatever. I'm not making these connections. It's just off the fly like this, right? Because it's something that even if those of you that read Arabic books, it comes natural. It's just that fact that if it doesn't have two dots, it's going to be an alif. If it's going to be an alif, it has to be preceded by a fatha, which means it has to be mabni lil majhul yuhda, because you can't say yuhdi unless you're talking about giving a gift. Because yuhdi means to give a gift. Yuhda means to guide. La ilaha illallah. Look at Arabic. Yuhda means to be guided. Yuhdi means to give a gift. Anyway, in the context, you'll know if it's talking about a gift or guidance anyway. So since you know that the context is talking about Allah guiding someone, then, or someone being guided by Allah, you're going to be see yuhda. Okay, أَمَّا لَا يَهِدِّي إِلَّا أَن يُهْدَى, Allah says. Okay, in the Quran. Or if it's got two dots, then you know it's a kasra because a ya has to be preceded by a kasra. If it's preceded by a kasra, it has to be yahdi, as in guiding and not being guided. شفت الفرق? So pay attention to the alif maqsura and the ya. Do not misspell it. Also pay attention to the alif and the alif maqsura. Again, a big difference as well. The alif and the alif maqsura are different. The alif shows you that the origin of that word goes back to a waw, if it's standing. If it's maqsura, it tells you the origin of that harf al-illah is ya, which means they are two different verbs. Aywa. Now, there's a lot of verbs, the difference being the alif is either standing or the alif is maqsura. Depending on which one you use, the meaning changes. They're two different verbs. And also there's a difference finally between alif, normal alif, and the alif that has the madda sign on top. The madda sign. You know what the madda sign is? It's that little squiggly line on top of the alif. This madda sign is basically means there's an hamza hidden. So the importance we gave to Hamza, we talked about Hamza and whatever, it's a separate letter. Same thing here. Just like the way that Shadda shows you there's a letter hidden, that Madda sign shows you there's a Hamza written there with Fatha. In other words, it's long. Ameen, for example, is written with that Madda sign. So again, there's a difference between Kulu, which means I'm eating, and not writing that sign. There's a big difference. Okay, you have to write that sign in order for it to be pronounced properly or for someone to know what you're saying. Again, there are examples, of course. If I were to think or look or just sit down and contemplate, I could come up with examples to show you how that madda sign is a difference, makes a big difference to the meaning of a sentence. But I already gave you many examples before this. I think that should be enough to prove the point of paying attention to these things. طيب. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله وسلم على نبينا Muhammad. I know I went a little bit over time. Please forgive me. Uh, but I just thought I had to share these things, mainly because if I don't, then what's going to happen is these spelling mistakes will keep on repeating themselves in the assignments. طيب. So do pay attention to that. الله يحفظكم جميعا. Maybe if we can clip that out, inshallah, we'll try that as well. I do remind you as well to clip out the 1 minute benefits you can get here and there. Like, subscribe, comment. Jazakumullah khairan. Tomorrow again, it's another day for me to sit down and prepare more assignments. I'll do that. At this moment in time, we're locked out of WhatsApp. I've told everyone at the beginning. I'm telling you guys as well. Twice we've been locked out of WhatsApp so far. Last night, and then I emailed them. They gave us back access. Then they locked us out again. So please do join the. If you're on the community, alhamdulillah. If you're not on the community, and the community is full, you can't join the community, unfortunately, at this moment in time. Hopefully, in the future, we will have maybe multiple communities, or maybe WhatsApp will go back to the 5,000 limit instead of 2,000. But meanwhile, join the Telegram channel, okay? Because we post the same announcements that we post on WhatsApp, we post them on Telegram. So do join the Telegram channel. If somebody can repost that, inshallah. Actually, I've got it here again. My keyboard manager greeting all of you. There we go. Clipboard manager. Oh, this is from what program? Sharia program. I don't know what's from Sharia program. طيب. حياكم الله. Someone said أحبكم في الله. أقول أحبك الذي أحببتنا لأجله. Someone said I love you for the sake of Allah. When someone says that, then the sunnah is to reply by saying أحبك الذي أحببتني لأجله. May he who you loved me for his sake love you back. So I say that to you, and I say that to everyone else. وأنا كذلك أحبكم جميعا في الله. أسأل الله تعالى أن يوفقنا لما يحب ويرضى، وأن يثبتنا على طاعته، وأن يتقبل منا جميعا، وأن يجعلنا ممن إذا أعطي شكر، وإذا أذنب استغفر، وإذا ابتلي صبر. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I look forward to seeing you inshallah ta'ala day after tomorrow. And finally, again, do support by whatever you can, by engaging with the content. Work hard. It's only a few days. This whole challenge will be over sometime next week, inshallah. So keep going, inshallah ta'ala, and you'll reap the fruits of your hard labor, inshallah. حياكم الله. السلام عليكم.